Welcome to part 2 of my favorite boss battle series. I'm Ultimo on behalf of GA Retro, and today we are looking at a boss battle that's in the game Kirby's Adventure for the NES. This is the second Kirby game in the series, the first one being Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, and this is a game that came out, it was basically at the very end of the NES era. I'm not sure if the Super NES was out yet, but it was pretty close to then. This is a game where when I decided I wanted to get into, more retro games and stuff, no one really suggested Kirby's Adventure to me. I just eventually picked up Kirby's Adventure on my own, and, it's probably my favorite NES game. It's really close with Mega Man 2, but Kirby's Adventure is an excellent game. The levels are fun, and the controls tight, the boss battles are great. Not just the one I'm going to be highlighting in this video. All the boss battles are really cool, and this game did a lot of cool stuff. It definitely used the NES to the most of its capabilities, which is pretty cool. And also, in Dreamland, you could not do what is now Kirby's signature, is swallowing his enemies and actually taking their powers. See, I just got a beam power up right there for swallowing a certain type of enemy. So that's pretty cool. Kirby can fly, which takes some of the platforming out of the whole game, but that's okay. It's not a very hard game at all. Some of the boss battles are going to trip you up a little bit here and there, but the game is actually pretty easy, and I really like this level that I'm showing right here, because it looks a lot like the Game Boy game that came out before this one, and I don't have any power-ups for this one, just like the original game, and it's in black and white. I thought that was a really clever idea to put a level like this in the game. When it came to boss battles, it was hard to choose. Like I said, there's a bunch of good boss battles that I would love to show off, but eventually I had to decide on Meta Knight. But before I show off Meta Knight, I just had to show this one just really fast, because I really like this one as well. The sun and the moon fighting you. I always thought that was a really clever idea, and it's a really fun one to play too. But who is Meta Knight? Meta Knight is kind of an anti-hero in the game. He's not really the main villain. That's King DDD, which later we find out. I'm not going to spoil the game. But, periodically throughout the game, Meta Knight shows up and challenges you by sending waves of enemies your direction, and what you gotta do is take out all the enemies and, survive that. That's how Meta Knight challenges you, and he does that, I think, at least once every world. Each world has about between 4 or 6 levels, and one of them usually has Meta Knight challenging you like that, and you have to defeat all the enemies before you can move on. So Meta Knight is kind of, he's always... I like how he's always a threat throughout the entire game. I've played this game 3 times through, I believe, and, it's just always really satisfying once I finally get to fight Meta Knight on my own, and, it's always one of my favorite parts of the game. The game is excellent. Like, I can't stress that enough. Kirby's Adventure is excellent. The final boss, that's really good too. But without any further ado, let's watch the Meta Knight fight. You fight Meta Knight at the very end of Orange Ocean. He's the main boss of the whole level/world. I'm not sure what's called. It says level on the screen, but it's more of like a world because each door has a level. But anyway, that's not the point. So the battle is really simple. You have a sword, and you just duke it out with Meta Knight. Meta Knight, the best strategy I can suggest is hit and run. He's not super hard. He might trip you up a few times before you can beat him, but there's not really, a puzzle to him. You can eventually gauge when is a safe time to attack. And usually when he does, an aerial attack or, when he jumps, he'll be paused for a little bit and you can hit him. Like, don't do what I just did there. Don't let him charge at you. Because you can't stop him. His attack's still going to go through. So wait for him to jump and you should be able to hit him and then get away from him because he's not going to stay stunned very long because, you have a sword, he has a sword, he's going to be doing the same stuff you can do. And even a few extra little tricks. So, Meta Knight's, he's really fun, and I always enjoy fighting Meta Knight. And you break his mask, and he looks a lot like Kirby, but a different color, so... Anyway, that was the Meta Knight fight. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out garetro.com, and I'll see you guys next week.